All right. Welcome, friend and beautiful souls. This is episode 102 of Faith, Fitness, Joy. My name is Rochelle Renee. I'm a health coach and healer, and I am so excited today to be talking with you about how you can snack your way to a better body. Today, I am sharing some of my snack swaps that have helped me transform my body without feeling deprived. One of the things I quickly noticed when I started working out, lifting weights, was an increase in my appetite. And I found that I was hungrier and hungry more often throughout the day. And so eventually I learned how to fuel my body so that I could still reach my goals, but not feeling deprived, and not just kind of like satisfying my hunger, but not really giving my body the right types of foods that were going to help me get where I wanted to get in terms of how I wanted to look, and also how I wanted to feel. So today I'm sharing with you some of my go-to snacks. I have 5 of my favorites that I'm sharing with you today. These snacks are packed with nutrition to help satisfy your hunger, curb your cravings, and give you an energy burst instead of that crash that we often tend to feel after we have some of these less nourishing snacks that a lot of us tend to go to and grab when we are feeling hungry. So let's get into what these healthier options are. And if you'd like to refer back to any of these later on, you can always find this on my blog. It's called faithfitnessjoy.com. So I have basically most of the episodes I do here on the podcast. I also create blog posts that include a lot of the same information. So if you want to go check that out. I also have other episodes and posts that I've done in the past where I talk about different ways to swap out some of your maybe favorite foods or some of those comfort foods that we all like. So it's all designed around ways that you can still enjoy what you're eating, but also give your body the right kinds of fuel and nutrition that it needs to help you reach your goals. It's a truth. There's a lot of truth to that saying, you are what you eat. And so a lot of what I have in my podcast and my blog that I share around different healthier swaps for some of our favorite foods are really like centered around that. I also really encourage a lot of this and include a lot of this in my coaching programs, one of which is called Phoenix Rising. I'm currently enrolling for that program right now. There's different options from 3 months group coaching to 6 months private one-on-one, up to a year if that's what you're interested in. So feel free to reach out to me if you are looking for that kind of help and getting into that kind of program. It is not just about weight loss, it's a total transformation of the mind, body, and soul. But in doing that, one of the things that I help with in that is how you can fuel your body so that you can transform your body and your physique. Also, I'm currently offering a free 30-day training program right now. You can find the link for that in my bio if that's something that you're interested in checking out. That's going to be a great way to help get you kick-started with working out and eating better. It also includes a nutrition plan that is all centered around a lot of what I cover here in this blog and in this podcast, as well as on my blog. So all that said, let's get into today's episode. As I have shared countless times, I've been dieting since I was about 14 years old in some form or fashion. I've been some sort of a weight loss kind of journey from that very young age. And as you can imagine, when I started at that age, I didn't really know much about what I was doing. And I was pretty much driven by wanting to lose weight and be thin, was basically the gist of what I wanted to accomplish at that time. And so I wasn't really in a place of really nourishing my body or even really knowing how to do that. And so along the way, over the course of the past 31-ish years, I have tried all there is to try. You name it, I have probably tried it. There's not many things I have not done when it comes to wanting to lose weight, wanting to get healthier, get more fit, all of that. So it's been everything in between from, really being somewhat unhealthily obsessed with being thin to learning to really shift my focus to improving my health and my overall well-being and having more of a focus on my health and well-being where I'm at now versus kind of when I was younger. So when I started lifting weights, which was many years later, it was in my early 20s, actually, no, I take that back. I think I was about 19 or so when I started lifting weights. So it's been well over 25 years when I started lifting weights. And one of the things I noticed when I started to weight lift was that my appetite increased significantly. Um, However, at the time that I started with weightlifting, I didn't really know anything about nutrition at all, right? I knew like all these different diets and things I had tried, but I never really added up or like really dove in deeply into nutrition and like fueling your body. So I knew that there were foods that were generally considered healthier foods, but I wasn't really familiar with the concept of caloric deficit and also nourishment or nourishing your body. So I would generally follow my hunger cues and my cravings at that time. And this didn't always mean that I was grabbing like junk food per se, but what I thought was healthy and what I thought I should be eating in, to like adapt to weightlifting was not necessarily what it should have been. And I was actually um, not really giving my body necessarily what it needed at the time. And so it just kind of affected my progress overall. And I wasn't really seeing the results that I wanted to see. So as a result of my sort of lack of knowledge about nutrition at that time, like I said, it was kind of slower progress. I would lose some weight and then I would get stuck. Um, and I was just generally later I learned that I was generally eating either too much, like meaning my deficit was either I wasn't in a deficit or it just wasn't enough of a deficit to really like get results. And or I was not really giving my body enough of what it wanted. And this was especially true with protein. Even still to this day, protein can be hard to hit the targets. You should really be aiming for, I would say, no less than 100 grams of protein a day. But you want to go as much as what your goal weight is in grams of protein. And I was far from that. And even now, it's still something I have to really pay attention to and focus on to make sure that I hit those targets because it can be really hard. Because I mean, let's be honest, when we're hungrier, and especially snacking in between meals, right? Like, it's not necessarily like protein is not necessarily the first thing that comes to mind with what you want to grab, right? We tend to want to go for the quick, the things that are going to like give our brain what it wants in a quicker way. And a lot of times that's kind of these empty calories that don't really do much for us, but they give us a quick sugar spike. And that doesn't have to mean that they're sweets or sugary snacks. It's just sort of these high carb, low fiber, low protein types of snacks that give us that insulin spike, which gives us that quick burst of energy in a short time frame, but often results in those crashes later because we're not really giving our body things that are going to help it stay satiated and all of that. So fast forward to now, I've learned a lot about nutrition over the years and how to fuel my body. And so while it's true that you do need to be in a calorie deficit in order to lose weight, that isn't in itself enough. I mean, a lot of us, whether we know it or not, when we embark on some sort of weight loss or fitness journey, we want to transform our body. In other words, we're trying to recomposition the body. So, I mean, you may have heard the term skinny fat, right? Which a lot of us fall in that trap of like going into a deficit, where we lose weight, but in losing weight, you're also losing muscle mass. And so you might be smaller, but you don't necessarily look the way you want to look, if that makes sense. So a lot of us, we want to have a more shapely physique. We want to have a nice booty. We want like the more toned shoulders and toned arms and toned thighs and legs. And you don't get that by basically starving yourself or eating like in these extreme caloric deficits. You get that by eating things like protein in the amounts I mentioned a second ago, as well as other types of foods that are going to help your body basically function properly. If you think of your body like a car, you can't really run your car on anything other than gasoline. I guess theoretically there's different types of fuel you could play around with and you might get your car to run, but it's not going to run properly and you can end up doing damage to it in the long run. So it's a similar concept of what we're eating. It's not just calories in, calories out. The nature of the calories also matters. It so anyway, um, with all that in mind, I wanted to share some of my favorite healthy snack recipes or healthy go-to snacks that I use a lot. So I have 5 of those for you today. And these snacks I have found keep me satiated. They help me stay satisfied throughout the day. They satisfy my cravings. So like some of them, if I have a sweeter tooth, I might opt for something like fruit and like nut butter or something like that. And the combination of those two is going to help my body stay satisfied longer. It's going to satisfy that craving for something sweet, but it's also giving your body something that it needs to help keep you going. And like I said, kind of with that goal of recomposition and changing the way that you look. So I would encourage you as you listen to this, or if you're catching this later or looking at this on the blog, take a look at your current snacks and try swapping in some of these instead. And maybe if you're just starting out, a good way to go about it is to do this gradually over time and keep building upon it. But you will notice that you'll start to have more energy as you're doing this with consistency. In addition to things like exercise and overall good nutrition, your body will also start to look more fit and healthy as well. Your body will start to change and basically transform. So let's get into these 5 favorite snacks of mine. Some of the ones I use myself that help me fuel my own body. So the first one is just fresh vegetables with either light sour cream or Greek yogurt if you want to get some added protein. And I just make a dip out of that. So Greek yogurt is a great option because, like I said, you're going to get more protein from the Greek yogurt than you will the light sour cream. The light sour cream is a nice option because it's obviously lower in fat, but it does give you some healthy fat, and the fat is going to help keep you satiated, right? So this is a good way to help boost your vegetable intake. So for example, when I first started like really trying to change how I was eating, I wasn't very good about eating vegetables. I didn't really like eating them raw. There was a few that I liked raw, but I found it hard to do that. And the thing is, that's really kind of the ideal way to eat vegetables to get the most out of them. So this is a great way to help kind of shift yourself into increasing your vegetable intake. Now, of course, you could use other dips if you wanted to. You just need to be really careful about the fat amounts and pay attention to how much of that you're eating, because you can quickly end up, over consuming in terms of the amount of calories. But, what are your favorite kind of go-to fresh vegetables? And if you're not really crazy about any of them, find a few that you can like tolerate or that you like with the dip. So for me, it's things like cucumbers, sliced up cucumbers, baby carrots, broccoli. I've gotten to where I can eat broccoli raw, although that wasn't always the case for me, but it was something I got, gradually came to like as I integrated that in with the other vegetables that I started to eat raw. You can also do this with other vegetables that maybe aren't so great raw, like beets come to mind, for example. So you can steam some beets ahead of time and peel them. Now, again, I hated beets because I had only ever tried canned ones when I first started doing this, but fresh beets, when you boil them or roast them, they're so good. I mean, at least I think they are. So, and it doesn't have to be the red beets. Like there's golden beets that have a milder taste than the red ones. So that's another thing to check out and just give it a try. And there's lots of other options. There's things like jicama, which is a pretty mild tasting vegetable, like a root vegetable type of a thing. There's actually not a lot of flavor to it, but it's a good thing to kind of start with and integrate. They usually have like sliced chunks of it in the store. Celery, obviously there's lots of different ones you can try, but find some that you like and then start to try to integrate some of the ones that maybe you haven't really eaten a lot of in the past, and just finding ways to start increasing your vegetable intake. The reason for this is obviously it's the best way to get your vitamins and minerals. It's better than supplementation if you can start to increase your vegetable intake. because you're going to get all of those, vitamins and nutrients from the vegetables. And when you eat them raw, you're getting more of those vitamins and nutrients than if you cook them. So that's one thing. And it's going to also give you more energy because you're getting nutrition, you're getting something that's good for you that your body wants and needs. And so that's a great way to do that by adding it in as a snack. And if, like me, you had a hard time like getting used to eating raw vegetables, it's start off with making yourself some dip. One of my favorites is, and I'm not getting paid or anything by these brands, but these are just the ones I use. There's this sour cream, no, green onion dip that I think it's Laura Scudder. Um, I have to buy it on Amazon because it can be hard to find on the store, but it's like they come in a pack, and you just get like one of the 8-ounce containers, I think it is, of like your light sour cream or plain Greek yogurt and stir that in. It's such a good dip. Um, for me, I don't know, I just love the flavor, but you can also use ranch. They have that, the containers of the powdered seasoning you can buy, or you can make your own. You can find a recipe on Google and you can do it with fresh herbs. That's another great option. Even better, it tastes better. It's better for you. So just find different ways and play around with it and find something that works for you that you like and enjoy, that tastes good with your veggies. And then you can get your veggies, increase your intake of veggies, but also nourishing your body in the process. Another one of my favorite go-to healthy snacks is just like an apple. I slice up apples with nut butter. Now, I used to do this with peanut butter, and then eventually I learned that I actually have kind of a sensitivity to peanut butter. And so for a while, I went off of it completely. And now I've gotten used to sun butter, which is actually my favorite now. But whatever it is for you, whichever one you like, find your favorite and then, eat that, with 1 to 2 tablespoons of your favorite nut butter. Measure it out. Do not eyeball your nut butter, okay? Because despite what we may like to think, a lot of times you can end up eating like a 1/4 cup instead of 2 tablespoons because you're eyeballing it. So again, it's obviously something like this is high in fat, which also means high in calories. The fat is not necessarily bad for you, but you need to be careful and be aware of how much you're eating in a single sitting. So you really don't need more than a couple tablespoons for a snack. And anyway, one of my favorite pairings is with an apple, but it can also be good with different vegetables as well. So again, similar to the dip, like play around with it and see what you like. Another one is those popcorner chips. They're like rice cakes, but they're little triangle shaped chips. I think that's the name of the brand. I don't remember if there's a different brand name, but I like the sweet chili flavor ones, I think are the ones I use. And then I'll just take like a small avocado, or if you have a larger avocado, I would just use half of one. Super simple. Cut it in half. If you're going with a larger one, cut it in half, save the other half for later. And just get a fork and like kind of mash it around in the peel, like if you're at work or you're on the go or something like that. And then a little bit of salt, if you have it on hand, kind of just helps you, taste the avocado more. And then just use the avocado like a dip. It is a really good snack. I love it. It's one of my go-to things that I will use for a snack. And again, when you're adding that healthier fat option with like a carb type of option, it kind of satisfies that craving for something salty and crunchy, but you're giving your body some extra nutrition with that avocado. You're getting a lot of vitamins and minerals in the avocado. You're getting healthier fat, which is going to keep you satisfied longer. As opposed to eating like a bag of chips, right? Where it's not going to satisfy you for very long. You're probably going to be hungry in a short amount of time after eating that bag of chips. And you're often going to end up having that slump or that crash following it because, again, it spikes your blood sugar because you're just getting straight up carbohydrates. You're not coupling that with something that's going to help mitigate the effect of the carbohydrates on your blood sugar. So that's why the fruit and the nut butter or the something like chips and the avocado or rice cakes or whatever it is. I mean, you could just do this with rice cakes if you wanted, like just spread some avocado on top of that. That would also be really good. And you can add other stuff too, like if you want to throw some tomatoes or cucumber slices on there or something like that, or even those little pouches of tuna are another good option to add some extra protein in with this. Um, you know, again, it's just going to help keep you satisfied longer and give your body more of the kind of fuel that it wants. Another great snack is smoked turkey breast and some string cheese, or even like the deli ham lunch meat with some string cheese, like just one string cheese. And I like to kind of peel it into little strips or cut it into strips, and then you can wrap the lunch meat around that. It's a really good, satisfying snack. And if you want to throw in a few whole grain crackers, or even like the nut thin crackers where they're made from like nut flours, that's another good option to, you know, if you want a little bit of crunch with it or something like that. So that's another one of my favorites. And then last but not least is dried berries, nuts, and chocolate chips, or some other trail mix type of a snack. And I like to make my own. Of course, there's different options you can find at the store. I've seen some that have like white chocolate chips, berries, and different types of raw nuts in them. And those make a really great snack, and you can find those like already. I think Costco has something like that. But the other thing you can do that's fun, because you can tailor it to your own tastes and what you like, is like the bulk snack items that you can find at some grocery stores. I don't know that all of them have them anymore, but there's a couple I have by my house where they have they have like the bulk raw nuts, they have bulk dried fruit, and other things like candy or chocolate chips or things like that. So play around with it, and you can make your own kind of trail mix that you can, you know, easily bag up for yourself and take it on the go, and have with you on hand. Again, it kind of helps satisfy that craving for something crunchy, something sweet. This might be, I will often use this one if I'm craving like a candy bar or something sweeter like that in the afternoon. This is something I will usually go to help like keep me from grabbing a candy bar. And, you know, I often will find that, you know, it satisfies my hunger, it satisfies my sweet tooth, and it just makes for a great snack in the afternoon. It's also good for the mornings. So these are my 5 favorite snacks, some of the ones that I have for myself that I use often. And you can use these to help you snack your way to a better body. So I hope you will give these a try, and find these helpful suggestions for you on your own journey to a healthier, happier version of you. As always, I would love to hear from you. So if any of these jump out at you that you want to give a try, you're excited to try for yourself, please share that in the comments. Always love to hear your thoughts. Or even if you have other suggestions that you want to share with other listeners and readers, you know, feel free to share that, because you know, it's helpful to get these ideas and suggestions for some of these things we can use to help keep us on track and reaching our goals. So, my friends, that concludes today's episode of Faith, Fitness, Joy. Like I said, I'd love to hear from you, so please share your thoughts in the comments. And as always, if you find this helpful and you want to continue the pursuit of faith, fitness, and joy with me, please make sure you like and subscribe, especially on the YouTube channel, where you can catch all of the episodes via video. Or like I said, you can check out my blog at faithfitnessjoy.com. Also, don't forget, I'm offering that free 30-day training right now. So check out the link in my bio on all my socials and get your application in. If you do decide you want to do that, here's what's going to happen. You're going to get, you'll find the link. It's going to ask you for your information, and then you'll send an application in. It'll send you an email. Make sure you check your spam, because a lot of times it goes into the spam folder. But you should get an email from Faith Fitness Joy, and it's going to have everything you need to get into that 30-day training program. So it's going to have your instructions for getting a free transformation session booked with me, where we're going to sit down and go over what your goals are, everything you've tried, and help you get a plan for success. Also going to talk to you about what your preferences are in terms of workouts, so we can get you set up in the trainer app, whether it's home workouts or gym workouts that you want to do. You're also going to get the nutrition plan and all the information you need for following that. And last but not least, you're going to get links to the free Facebook group where you're going to have access to all of the previous coaching call training videos and an amazing community of other ladies that are also pursuing their happiest, healthiest, and most aligned versions of themselves. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, grab that link and get your application in and get in on that free 30-day training program. I really look forward to seeing you in there. And with that, I will wish you all a wonderful rest of your Monday, and I will see you on Wednesday for the next episode of Faith, Fitness, Joy.